It's the Yes Yeah Yes podcast with Marissa and Tamika.
Look, I'd rather be a gambler than a weedhead.
I walked in, sat down, had to leave, and violently vomited.
I'm not going down that hole. Come on. Don't even try me. Not today, Peyton. Not today. I value my precious. You're the cream. And the coffee is life.
Life.
You bring cream to my life.
I'm not sure.
Once a week for an hour.
Marissa,
Hello.
how's life?
Life, you're the cream to my coffee.
No, you're the cream to my
You're the coffee.
coffee. I'm the coffee to your cream. Gotta come up with your own analogy. That one. Anyway,
day
how's it
going?
going? Good?
Yeah. It's a nice sunshiny day on Long Island.
When I
No?
recorded last week, speaking of our clip, I got I wouldn't say violently, but I got ill. Like after my shot. I was like at my dad's house and he took care of me in the way that he takes care of me, toast and water. But I recommend everybody get the shot because I feel like my mind is
At ease now?
and
And how was so the first day was good, it was just like the second day?
yeah, the second shot, but they said to expect that. Even the pharmacist gave me the shot. I had the Moderna, and the Moderna has a little bit more side effects. Basically, the side effects are like you're getting it, the flu,
Right.
which is to be expected because it's happened with people that get the traditional flu shot. So
Right.
like I said, I'm just happy to be vaccinated. And hopefully other people will get vaccinated and think about people other than themselves. I know people have their own reasons, but I don't want to make the show about vaccinations. But I don't know. I have not heard a valid excuse. When I definitely will put it. I'll definitely accept that. But I haven't heard a valid excuse why people don't get vaccinated. But why are you looking at me like that?
No,
Because everybody doesn't see us. Some people hear us. So.
Oh, okay. No, well, so you think that everyone should be vaccinated?
Unless, like I said, I haven't heard a valid excuse as to why people have not been vaccinated. So I don't see why people shouldn't get vaccinated. The excuses I've heard were like the QAnon shit, political reasons, our freedom.
We just don't want to. How about that?
But nobody's ever said that though. Nobody's ever said I just don't want to do it. They come with an excuse. It's never like
okay.
I just don't want to do it. It's always like they're trying to kill us. The poison in our body, you know what I'm saying? It's never like it's just a personal choice. I don't want to do it.
Okay.
It's just people. Nobody's ever said to me, or they'll say, I want to wait for other people to get vaccinated, which is fine. But I don't know if sometimes I feel like some people try to come up with excuses because they feel uncomfortable just saying I don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Just
right.
Like anything in life. You're like, I don't feel comfortable telling you that I just don't have a reason. I just don't want to do it. So I'm going to come up with a whole bunch of talking points that I've heard from other people. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But I just, when I hear a good enough excuse to me personally, or that I've read or heard other people say, then I have no choice but to respect that. But the whole they're trying to kill us, really. The American government is trying to kill us, or the people who, I saw someone who said that she went to go visit her children, her daughter and her grandchildren, and they wouldn't let her in the house because there's a group of people that think that even if you're near them, it messes with their fertility.
Who's vaccinated?
Yeah. So for example, if I'm vaccinated and I'm next to somebody who's trying to have a baby, they don't want to be near me because they feel like the waves from me, stuff that I'm giving off, could mess them up. You haven't read this? There's a whole bunch of faction of people who
No,
believe by even standing next to someone who's vaccinated messes up their fertility.
I have not heard this.
When you get off
Okay.
when you get off this podcast, you're gonna go into a whole web. I don't know if you should, because
I'm not
you're
going
like
down that rabbit
that
hole.
goes down the dark web, and all of a sudden you're sending me stuff, and I'm like, these people are
No
crazy.
thanks.
You're like entertained by that shit, and I'm like, these people are crazy.
I know. Why am I so entertained?
I don't know, but one day you're gonna turn into my cousin and start believing that shit.
Gosh, I hope not.
Conspiracy theorists.
I hope I do, but hold on though. I will say this: I do believe in some conspiracy theories. I will say I do.
So you believe in Pizzagate?
What?
Pizzagate?
What?
Pizzagate.
Oh, Pizzagate. Do I believe?
You gotta let me know if you can't hear me so I can fix my mic.
Oh, I texted you, by the way.
I didn't see it. I'm trying to stay off my phone.
Oh, so Pizzagate. Do I believe in Pizzagate? I don't know. I don't know if I believe it. I don't know if I not believe it. I don't know.
Really? So you believe?
I said I don't know if I believe it.
Know,
I don't believe.
what do you?
I don't know if
what
I
do you
don't
know
believe
about Pizzagate? Just make sure we're talking about the same thing.
The pedophile ring in Manhattan.
Okay. All right. So moving on. Today's
Wait, is that
show.
what we were talking about?
Yeah, it's a whole but in a pizzeria, they're hiding. They have a ring in the bottom of a pizzeria, and somebody goes there and shoots up the place.
Oh, shoots up the place.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. The whole Pizzagate thing. They went into the pizzeria and shot up the place because they thought they were hiding children in the basement through a smuggling ring. I digress. This is a show for another.
Well, hold on a second.
Like,
I'm not gonna wait. Well, hold on a second. When it comes to what people, I'm not gonna say that specific incident was.
It was fueled because they believed that Hillary Clinton was the ringleader of it.
Yeah. Okay. Now you're going down the dark hole of it all.
Well,
yeah,
that's the Pizzagate. That's the whole thing that spawned the whole thing with the shooting in the basement.
Okay, but so there's components of that I do believe. Do I believe that there are pedophile rings out there that operate clandestinely? Right. Yes, absolutely, I do. That exact pizzeria, I don't know.
That's different than Pizzagate. Like, I believe in pedophilia rings. I mean, the guy that killed himself, last year? What's his name? I believe in these whole rings of people that, get women, young girls, 14, 15, 16-year-olds from different countries to service the needs of wealthy men. Mm-hmm. Do I believe that Hillary Clinton is the head of a ring that is smuggling people through the basements of pizzerias?
I don't know. I don't know.
So when you said that you don't know one way or the other, I'm like, okay, we should move on.
Oh no, see, you're delving into like the rabbit hole of it all.
But that's Pizzagate. That's what Pizzagate was.
But okay, let me backtrack what I'm trying to say, or let me clarify what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
I do believe there are pedophile rings that operate clandestinely. Okay. 1,000%, yes. That exact pizzeria, exactly who's involved, I don't think I'll ever know. I don't think any of us will ever know. But yes, I do believe people operate clandestinely in the deep dark bowels, and I think that half of the time it's part of the what do you call that? Like it's your neighbor next door. You didn't even know. Like, I had a whole meth lab at the end of my block, and we have a chief of police, 2 detectives, and I think he's a cop, but I don't know what division. So 4 cops on the same block as a full-on meth lab.
Well, that doesn't say anything to me because, I mean, if there's 4 cops in the same block, there's also, I mean, that's a whole nother with policing. You know what I mean? Like they come home, they're not policing their street. You know what I mean? They think they live in a neighborhood that's like, oh, this is perfect. It's a good neighborhood, no issues, no problem. I think most police officers don't live in the neighborhoods they patrol in terms of like crime-ridden neighborhoods. They don't expect to find Walter White in their neighborhood. You know what I mean? But so when you say 4 police officers.
But I'm making the point to say that, I'm not making the point to say that these cops should have known. What I'm saying is that I believe people operate clandestinely,
right,
and doing, probably not the best things for society.
Well, I'm just going to say for the record, I personally do not believe that Hillary Clinton is the head of a pedophilia ring that operates out of a pizzeria in Washington, D.C. I just don't. And then we can move on from there. Happy Mother's Day, Hillary. So today's show is a Mother's Day themed show. Celeb, is my audio a little bit better? It's a lot better. Okay, perfect.
Perfect.
Today's show is Celeb Moms, TV Moms, and Our Moms, a Mother's Day show. Okay. So we have this weird obsession as a country, I believe, with celeb and the unknown and the fantastical. And so we love to compare our lives to the lives of our neighbor, the lives of people on TV, the lives of celebrities we've never met, and make assumptions about whether, if they're real people, make assumptions about how they've raised their kids, or make assumptions about like TV moms, like this is how most families are supposed to live. Meanwhile, right. Your mom's like, get in the house, eat your dinner, eat every scrap of it. You don't see that shit on TV really. They right. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I right. wanted to like have a conversation about, our moms, and it doesn't have to be necessarily our moms, but how we're our mother figures, mm-hmm. and in comparison to celeb and television mothers. Was there like a mom when you were like a little kid that you can think of on like TV or celeb? It's like hard because there's so much TV in the 40 plus years we've been alive. Like mm-hmm. Even preparing for the show, I'm like, the TV mom from back in the day, from, before we were born, like the I Love Lucy mom, like I didn't see her as a mother, even though she had a son on
Little
the show.
Ricky.
Yeah. And then, the Donna Reed show and all those mm-hmm. shows, and, Leave It to Beaver. They were right. like hands-off moms that like gave everything to the father to do. Like he was a disciplinarian. All she did was like cook and,
and just be home.
Iron the kids' clothes, fix a ribbon, in the girls' mm-hmm. hair. It was never really, it didn't seem believable. And then as time grew on, you see, Brady Bunch, and as you get older, Partridge Family, it's just very different.
You know what I wanted? Mrs. Garrett. Somebody who just listened to my shit. She was a mother.
She had 2 sons, but they never really came on the show.
No, but she was just somebody there to just listen and like, and she was always encouraging.
Yep. And she had no biases.
No.
She was like, just do what you're supposed to do. Facts of Life.
Facts of Life. Wait.
Even when she was on Different Strokes. Remember when she was
on Different Strokes. Yes.
She got they gave her own show. She was popular.
She was.
So yes, I thought she was a good mother figure, definitely. Especially considering they all had mothers that whenever they depicted the mom on the show, it was like so involved. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Your kids.
But weren't they in a boarding school?
Yeah, like all year.
Yeah.
Even though they came home.
And then they opened a candy store somehow.
Yeah, and they all like live together still. Like I don't even like, when I think about friends from elementary school and beyond.
Mhm.
Like I don't like, I have Facebook friends from high school, but I don't really have a relationship with them. Like from school.
Yeah.
Like, do you?
Um,
Like a relationship?
a relationship, but that word is so subjective.
No, a
Like,
relationship in the sense that, okay, I can break it down. Relationship where you call this person, you don't send them a text or a direct message or something, or post on their birthday, happy birthday, but you call them, hey, what are you getting into? And they're cooking, having a conversation, like a real conversation.
I don't do that with anybody on the phone.
You do that with me. What are you talking about?
Oh.
But okay, an afterthought, I know.
No, you're not an afterthought. I just like, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I have
You
such
talk to your
phone
brother,
avoidance.
like you'll have a conversation with your brother. You have
Yeah.
conversations with your cousin. Like,
Yeah.
it's not, I'm talking about, like, do you have friends who you used to talk to like every day at school, and like you just, now you continue to have a relationship with them?
That's gonna be a no.
Yeah, the same here. Like, I don't, but I have work friends after school. You know what I mean?
After school.
But like, that's why the facts of life doesn't seem believable, because
Yeah.
they, all four of them remained friends and opened a business together. Really?
Yeah.
And then to find out behind the scenes that Tootie and Blair were friends in real life.
Really?
I'm sorry, Tootie and Joe, because they were close
Oh,
in
okay.
age. Tootie and Joe.
Okay.
I
That I
would, but
believe.
on the show is Natalie and Tootie. You know what I'm saying? So you're thinking,
Yeah.
see, this is why TV is make believe, and so we can't turn to those aspects of life to determine, you know, whether
What
somebody is or is not a good mom per se.
What about the 90210 mom? Oh, they were never around either.
Yeah, it's like, no. I did
No.
put together.
But
Go ahead.
but I would say that television doesn't usually portray a parent-child relationship as a friendship or a bond. It's always like when you look at like kids programming, I'll use like today's shows, like it's always like, you know, like the dopey dad who's like, yo, bloopy, and like the
Right.
mom who's always trying to be like, yeah, kids, I'm young. Oh, what's up, guys? I'm wearing the same thing.
Right.
You know, so it's like it's never really like, you know, but it's TV.
Like, I'm the mother and you're the child. I don't care if you're, 50. It's never like a friendship, really. You're right.
Yeah.
So I put together a collage based on some of our thoughts, so we can talk about
Okay.
some of these mothers. You able to see it? Okay.
Mm-hmm. How did I forget Sophia?
So Sophia, to me, was one of those where you were talking about moms and friends. She was one of those mothers who seemed like a friend to her daughter and her daughter's friends. And I could believe, like, I could see my mother being friendly with my friends.
Yep.
Like my mom lived with me,
yeah.
It to me, that's why that show was so good, because it, in a lot of ways, it was believable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay. So Sophia, to me, she was like the perfect mom. You know what I mean? She's like,
picture it.
Yeah, picture it. She'd tell her daughter, like, you had a date, really? Who was interested in you? You know what I mean? And then, and in the same token, like, I love you, baby pussycat. She always called her pussycat. Like, she, you know what I mean? So I think she would bust her chops, but she would also, be a mother. You know what I mean? So I liked her. Even though she's been canceled, quote unquote, Roseanne, to me, was like, she was like a perfect TV mom, because she was relatable.
She was involved.
Yeah, she was way too over involved. But what, that's kind of what kids want from their moms in a lot of, even though, like, a lot of us, when at that age, we wouldn't have admitted that we wanted an overly, involved mother.
Overbearing, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But we all do.
Exactly. Act like you care. Shit.
Right?
And then to see how the show has evolved today, and it's
it's a good show because you don't normally see a show or characters age 20 something years, 30, almost 30 years. Because you figure like Darlene on the show, she's like my age. I think we're like a year or two apart. So she's like
Wow.
46 or so, 46. I don't know. I'm not remembering the exact age. But on the show, she started at like 12, 11 or 12. So the evolution of those characters is
Right.
cool to see because you don't get to see that. People are like stuck.
Yeah.
And then when you see them years later, you're like, wow, you look old. And meanwhile, they look their age. But
yeah. But you've been
stop,
looking at them for so long.
and you continue to look at them. You know, you still look
Yeah.
at feats and stuff. So it's like, oh my gosh. Anybody stand out for you?
Well, my queen, Kris Jenner. I'm obsessed. Okay, so first of all, I mean, hail to the queen. I gotta say, this bitch made fucking wine out of water. She took literally nothing and made something out of it and continues to do that. Like, I don't know how many times on this show she has sold and resold and repackaged in so many different ways. Like, you want to talk about merchandising? The Kardashians have I feel like every corner of the merch market you can think of. They had websites, they had apps, they had like whatever you can think of, a Kardashian name is on it. And Momager is getting her coins. And you know what you see on the show, as much as they, like, oh, you're so annoying, why are you so involved? But they don't do any step of their life without her. And they seem very close. And me, for what I want for my kids is that, not that listen, it would be my dream that they didn't make a move without like checking in with me first, of course. But it's just a dream. I think it would be a dream to have that kind of relationship with my kids, where not only are they comfortable enough to tell me the dirty, but they're comfortable enough to tell me the amazing things, the highs and lows, and you want that relationship.
Okay.
So, and then Chrissy Teigen, love her. She has 3 children, 1 rainbow and 2 living. And she just seems to be just there for it.
Rainbow for the people that don't know.
She has a child who passed. I don't think the baby passed in utero. I can't remember. But her son Jack died at birth. Actually, and then he wouldn't be a rainbow baby. Never mind. And then she's got her two living children, it's Luna and Miles. And she's just so involved. Like, if you look at her social media, she's always cooking with them and seeing them, and she's just laughing all the time with them. And she's also not. She tells you how, like, there's moments where there's high and there's low. And, she just tries to always encourage them to just enjoy the moment that they're in. I appreciate that from a mom.
So the thing that, like, when I compare the two, like with Kris Jenner, we see how she has raised her children. Chrissy Teigen, how she's raising them. Right. Everything was all good just a week ago. Your kid can be a crackhead. It's like, oh, she did such a great job. And then like, oh yeah, we had to, put such and such in rehab because, and then the kid comes out like, mommy wasn't there. She was so busy for the gram. You're like, oh, she was posting a lot, like, so until somebody comes out like as an adult,
yeah,
like past 20 something, and you're like, okay, like I look at what's his name that's married to damn, what's her name? Oh man, I can't. His father was he Spartacus? And then him, and then his son
Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas. What's his wife's name?
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Right. So his first wife and him, they had a son, and the son was all these legal troubles, drugs, went to jail, but like as a kid, it's like he's in the movies with them, and it's like he's such a good kid. You know what I mean? Until this person is like an adult on their own, like when it comes to celebrity, I can't really give a good indication. And is it fair to, now that I'm thinking, is it fair to blame the parent for a kid becoming a drug addict? what responsibility does a parent bear in that? And we'll say mother because we're talking about moms, but it's parents really.
That's such an interesting question because so there's a certain point in your life where you no longer have the excuse to say it was my upbringing, it was this, it was that, it was my parents, whatever. I don't know when at that moment changes. I really don't. But as far as you as I don't know if there's an age, I don't know if there's a moment, but the responsibility a parent has is to make sure that their children have solid ground, and that could be anywhere. They feel wanted and loved. And I think when you have all those components, that addiction monster doesn't rear its ugly head because, while I do think addiction is, a lot of that has to do with genetics. I think we look.
Oops, I lost you. Guys, we'll be right back with Marissa. I don't know what happened to her. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, we're back. Got Marissa back. All right. So what were you saying? Do you remember what you were saying? Yeah, I don't either. It was so sudden. Well, I think we were just talking about, moms. And
Yeah.
TV and.
You just want your mom to be there, overbearing.
Exactly. But
overbearing
I don't think we even got to the mom, but I was like the difference between Chrissy and
oh yeah, Kris Jenner.
Kris Jenner. It's like with the drug thing. You blame.
Right. At one point, are you responsible?
At what point are you as an adult responsible and no longer? But my thing is at what point do you say I have a lifetime responsibility because my kid started using drugs as a 12-year-old?
Oh.
Like
that's heartbreaking.
You don't get to absolve yourself because now they're 18. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a parent ever stops being a parent and taking responsibility for the choices that they've made in the lives of their children. Now, as a child, do you continuously blame your parents when you know better? You're supposed to do better. So
no, there comes a point where you have to take ownership.
Right. But I don't, at the same time, like as a minor, it's like, okay, well, they got here, like you have to take some responsibility in that as a parent. Like they got here because I didn't see, I wasn't paying attention, whatever the case may be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Were they crying out and I didn't notice? And so, when we look at Kris Jenner, we see how her children are adults now with children.
Right.
So do we pick and choose who she did a good job with and who she hasn't?
Well, she had two younger ones when her show started.
What?
There were two younger ones when the show started.
Right.
So, I mean, we did see how she did raise her kids.
Right. Now, but I'm talking about how they've ended up, because if we're going to equate success to be monetary, then okay, she's been a successful mother.
No, I'm talking strictly in terms of how her kids and her, like the perception of their relationship, how they're always checking in with her when even if it's good or bad, they're always checking in with her. They always seem to be together. They're always talking about, it's Mother's Day. I have to make sure my mom feels special. It's her birthday and we want to make sure she feels celebrated. It's when they talk about their grandmother, MJ. When they talk about each other, they really do try to make each other feel celebrated. And the way you see that they react to their siblings' children, to each other's children, it's always like, hi, give me a kiss, come here. You know what I mean? And like, there's like such an excitement, even for each other's children.
Right.
You don't always get that. And that, I think, is a successful parenting situation.
Right. Yeah, I could definitely I could definitely see that aspect. So before we go back to talking about real life mothers, we'll go back to TV moms again.
Okay.
So we got Claire Huxtable, who she continuously voted like one of the top 10 favorite TV moms.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, what made her so great? I mean,
she was there. She was present.
Okay.
She talked to her kids. She gave them real life lessons, and she was also their champion.
And she worked.
Yeah, and she worked. That's
a good ass.
And a good ass job too. You know? Do you remember the episode where she goes to visit one of her kids' apartments with the husband?
Oh yeah.
And like there's something with the and it's like, tell them your mother-in-law's here. Tell them I'm a lawyer. And it's like, you know what I mean?
That's what you want, right? You don't want to have to ask for it though.
No, you don't want to have to ask for it. And that's the whole thing. And then even like, you know, it's like I don't know. It's just like you want to make sure that your parents always got your back. You don't want to turn around and be like, can you help me? Like, you're standing right here, bitch. Hook me up.
It's true. like even when it comes to on a personal level, when it comes to my mom, it's like I'd be like, damn, I know if I ask my mom for $20, she'd give it to me, no questions asked. But just the feeling of like, Mom, can I get 20? You know what I mean? It just you know, and so like when the thing that made Claire relatable, and it's the same thing that I experienced in my life, it's just a mother will give you what you need without you having to ask it. A good mother isn't too with that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So oh my God, I pray to be that way.
Good. She was good. What about Bo from Blackish? So like, I don't know if you watch the show, but
I do watch the show.
So I think she's good. I think she's a good mother, but I think she's also one of those. She's an epitome of today's mom, like trying to be young, like trying to be like hip. Like I'm not as old as you know. I might have like kids in college, but whatever. I can dip
and I got a new baby too.
Exactly. Dipping and doing it
at preschool with your kid. Like, come on, you know your back hurts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like to see it.
But you know what else I like to see? How she just like, she does the whole like, this is how they feel, so let's honor that. You know what I mean? I appreciate that.
Right.
You know, especially you always want to do that when it's like, you know, your child.
Right. Exactly. So then we have Zeta in real life, and this goes back to, I put her on there because it goes back to what I was mentioning before, where okay, it's great to see them as kids, but now they're adults. We see what you've done. We get to open up the present that's been sitting there for 20 years.
Right.
And so I think overall she's been a good mother, considering the celebrity trappings, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not, you know, I saw her on social media the other day, her daughter for Mother's Day reunited Jada's old rock band, Wicked Wisdom. And like that to me is and she sang with them. You know what I mean? It's like,
I love that. I thought cool. That was so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And her kids seem to be very like, you know, that's my mother, that's my friend. And that at the end of the day, isn't that what you want?
Remember all those years people kept like shitting on them? Like, those kids raised themselves. What the hell are they doing? Why is he in a skirt today? Meanwhile, now everybody wears skirts.
Exactly. Isn't that crazy?
You know what I mean?
The hair, like they cut her hair off. What's wrong with her?
Yeah.
Like every
but it's like they really went in on them and those kids. And it was like, he's wearing a skirt. He's not like caught with like some underage hooker. He's wearing a skirt. You know what I mean? And it was just like one of those things where it's like, I don't know. It was so like, they really went in on her, and she just stood steadfast in her, and she didn't explain it because it wasn't for nobody to be explained about. Like, it is what it is.
You know, the last thing a mom needs to do is make excuses for her kids. You know, you can do that in the privacy of your home. Why the fuck did you do this? But you know, support me in public.
Yes, that's yeah. That's what I pray. That's the kind of mom I pray to be.
But we'll find out in a few years.
Yeah, exactly.
What kind of mom you was. What do you think about Angelina Jolie?
Love. And I feel like she has made concerted efforts to not only honor and support her children's ethnic backgrounds, she's honoring, supporting legit every background in the world. She wants to make sure that her kids are comfortable and knowledgeable globally to look at things on the macro, not just the micro. I'm into it. Okay. I don't know how she talks to them at the kitchen table, but who knows?
We'll find out later.
We'll find out later.
But from what we see now,
it seems to be all right.
She seems to be all right. All right, so go ahead.
The only thing I will say is that, again, media does that whole thing, how she's never come out to say, I at least I don't think, I'm not aware how her children identify themselves and how they, present to the world. I don't think she's ever talked about that. But I think they're kids. They're not celebrities. They're not making movies and on the red carpet and, the entertainment circle, so to speak. So whatever you see out there, that's shut your mouth. You don't need to print about nobody's babies. And if, all of a sudden she switched it up and now she looks like a girl, or she used to look like a boy, like, that's not for you to decide. You don't know what's going on.
But see, here's the one thing I have to say though. Mm-hmm. It's like celebrities who get upset, like this happened on social media right now with was it Erica Mena, Safari's wife? I think that's her name. She's all upset at Wendy Williams because Wendy Williams had a lot to say about her. You push it out on social media. You bring, like, Angelina Jolie brings her kids out there.
But does she? But just as a picture, she doesn't talk about them. She doesn't do the whole.
But I mean, once you put them out there, you open them up to criticism. I ain't seen Halle Berry's kids since they was born.
Yeah.
She don't bring them on the red carpet. She doesn't do any of that. So it's like you set them up for criticism when you put them in a position. Like, I could see if it was like where the paparazzi is stalking them, but she specifically brings them out and she did a whole photo spread with her and Brad. Like, what magazine was that? Vanity Fair or something like that?
I don't remember.
But remember when they first got together? It was right after Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah.
And it was like, everybody was like, wow, your kid looks just like both of them combined. It's like, you made the concerted effort to put them. I don't know what Janet Jackson's kid looks like.
Oh.
Except for when the baby was first born.
Yeah, so I bet that baby's cute as hell.
Right, but like that baby's got to be like 6 or 7 now. You know what I'm saying? We don't know.
Oh yeah.
We don't know what the kid looks like. Maybe the kid's like 6. Like, so my point though.
I'm gonna Google that. That baby's 3 months old.
No, because she was with her husband at the time when the baby was born, and they got a divorce like when the baby was like almost 1.
You know what gets me? When people have a whole baby and then you come to find out after the baby's like 2 years old, like what's Eva Mendes and Ryan Gosling.
Exactly.
You're like, how'd y'all do that?
That's my point. Like your kids are in the limelight because you let them be in the limelight. There's so many celebrities that just don't have their kids. Nobody knows what their kids look like. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like I said, it's one thing if it's a paparazzi shot, you're on vacation from a distance. It's another thing when you brought them on the red carpet to that your so-called job. This is just This is just work. How many parents bring their kids to work? Like, it's not like bring your kid to work day. So Angelina Jolie, go back there with her. Whatever. I'm sure she's a good mom, but we shall see. And then I don't trust nobody. I honestly don't trust nobody, to be honest, that like does not get along with their parent. Like, you don't have a relationship with your parents. Like, right before her mom died is like when she kind of like speaking to her. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay. Like, how can I really like trust somebody? Like, it's even like when you're dating someone, and it's like, well, you're not dating, but if I go on a date and a guy has kids, and he's like, his baby's mother's a bitch, like, really? Like, how can I fuck with you?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you dating somebody that I don't speak to my mom, really? Y'all had an argument, or y'all just don't? You haven't spoken to each other in years.
What's the story
Like,
here?
yeah, how can you not have a? And she's not a drug addict. She got a whole job. She's a teacher or some shit. Like, how is that?
She got a whole job. She got a whole job.
You know what I'm
Oh man,
so,
yeah.
It's that bad. Anyway,
I hope my kids never stop talking to me. I'd be devastated.
Speaking of talking to moms, I talk to my mom, and I'd like to, we have our mom at the center of this
yes.
collage. So I'll go first because I'm already talking. Love you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. She's a great mother. We've had our ups and downs, but the ups have far outweighed the downs, especially as we've gotten older and we go on vacation together. We have a good time. And honestly, the only thing that I can do is blame her for not being in a relationship. Because I'm like, first I used to blame you because I'm like, look, if a guy can't measure up to Marissa, then it's just not. Now it's like, look, if he can't make me want to go on vacation with him as opposed to my mother, then he's just not the one.
He ain't the one.
So, Mom, I need you to like chill with, making me have a good time so I can seek out a new partner.
Oh my gosh.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
And you?
That's I love that picture. Thank you for choosing that picture.
I'm sorry it's cropped. Like I had to choose between the rose or her whole face.
No, I like it. And you know what? I looked at that picture and I was like, oh, I see a resemblance with myself. I never saw a resemblance with myself and her. But in that picture, just right now, for some reason, I was like, I feel like we same tribe in it. Like there's something in there that makes me feel like we're the same tribe. I will say this is the first year where my grief has not overtaken me with hatred for my mother. So full circle moment.
You have to speak on that a little bit because you just be putting shit out there and then moving on.
So my mom died 12 years ago. 12 years ago. And it went from horrific grief to absolute anger and hatred, and full circle. I see the good this year. My first Mother's Day.
12 years, but hey, you're there.
Hey, I'm here. I don't know about Father's Day. We'll see what happens when that one.
Look, this is about mothers.
This is about mothers.
Like, let's not.
They need to go back where. Yeah. So for this Mother's Day, for my mom, I will be grateful for, I don't know if it's the genetics. I don't know if it's because I speak of her still. So they're on the forefront of my kids' brain occasionally. Mm-hmm. But I see very good lessons that I've taken from her and I've tried to impart with my kids. So I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for, it's like I traveled a lot and yeah, I travel a certain kind of way. And if you can't measure up, I ain't traveling with you, but that's because of her. But yes, I wish her a very happy Mother's Day. I don't know if my belief system says that she's either reincarnated or still watching over us. I don't know. I haven't fully decided all that yet, but if she's watching, hopefully she'd be proud. If she's reincarnated, I hope that she's in such an amazing place.
If she was reincarnated, what do you think she would want to come back
as? Her damn self, a woman. Herself. She probably, if she's reincarnated, she's definitely my daughter. For sure, because I've never understood, like there's just, I don't know if it's like the DNA or whatever it is, but and I don't know if you can attest to this, but I think my mini me and my mother are so alike that it's like, but how'd you even do that? Because you didn't even know her.
Right.
Yeah, so if she's reincarnated, I gave birth to her because she's for real here. She got the attitude and everything. Yeah.
She could very well be reincarnated.
Reincarnated.
Very well be.
I like how I look. I like the way the green screen looks on both of us.
Why?
Oh, your hair is in a pony. I didn't realize.
Yeah,
okay.
my hair is like.
Is there?
It's crazy, and I look like I'm lower than you, but I'm in my car.
But I'm also sitting very close to the camera, and I'm sitting on something. I'm propped up higher. Your skin looks amazing, by the way.
Anyway, so happy Mother's Day to all of the madres out there,
and the mother figures,
the aunts. Shout out to my aunt, who is she's been a mother figure. She's a friend, and shout out to Pam. So I want to make a transition to. Oops. It's time for Tamiekas Thoughts. And now let me change my screen to my other virtual background. There we go.
Ah.
It is Tamiekas Thoughts, not Marissa's. But you can keep it up if you wish. For those that are watching, just have to get to my words. So I got a text asking for my support of Hunter Gross for Huntington Town Council. The brief text outlined his age, which is 25, his goal to end corruption in the town hall, climate change, small businesses as it pertains to COVID-19, and making sure working families can afford to stay in the town of Huntington. All good stuff on the surface. But anyone that knows our town knows there is a huge racial divide. And so I replied, what is his stance on race relations? It was a reply back that has prompted me to speak out on this week's Tamiekas Thoughts. You see, he said that Hunter wasn't taking money from the PBA or law enforcement organizations, and that he supports the legalization of marijuana so we can invest in Black and brown communities who were failed by the war on drugs. My question is, why do so many politicians, specifically local politicians, only always equate drugs and law enforcement with the question about race relations? Why didn't the response include an agreement to support fair employment opportunities within the town, including the hall and other local government facilities? Why didn't his response include a commitment to ensuring fair and equal practices within the planning, building, and zoning departments? Don't get me started on the inequalities when it comes to fair housing within the town that I love so much. My point isn't to get on Hunter Gross or anyone like him, but to simply point out that drugs and law enforcement shouldn't be the first nor the only thing that comes to mind when thinking of the needs of Black and brown people. It's a tiresome stance, and if the state of Georgia taught me anything, it's that my vote counts. All right, Marissa, I want to wish you a happy Mother's Day.
Thank you very much.
2020, you won.
Happy Daughter's Day.
No such thing, but it's a nice sentence.
Listen, people wouldn't be mothers without kids.
Yeah.
The celebration is to you.
You know, I was thinking, it was crazy. I was thinking about your boy, because his birthday is coming up, and he just like I can't have kids for whatever medical. I mean, I know what the medical reasons are, but the fact that I can't have kids, like, he's like, I'm so blessed. Like, he's my favorite. Okay, out of every kid, I love my niece and nephew. I love your other kids. But this boy is
something about that boy.
Dear to my heart. Like, I feel like he was the forgotten one, even though he wasn't. But I put that in my head. They don't care about you the way I care about you. And one day he's gonna recognize, like he's at the age now where he's like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But there's gonna be a day where he's gonna sit back and be like, damn,
She really
Tamika
did the
had
extra.
she had my back.
Yeah.
So I want to wish him a happy birthday, along with Happy Mother's Day to you. Happy Mother's Day to my aunt and my mom and all the other mothers out there that listen to the show. And yeah, where can they catch us?
Yep, yeah, yes, 18 on Instagram and Twitter. The Yep, yeah, yes podcast on Facebook. Any streaming device, all you got to do is say said device. Please play the Yep, yeah, yes podcast. Don't forget to check us out on YouTube.
Holler. Bye now. Happy May.
Bye now.